member RD, and I would have spent a year in the old post, the fabulous restaurant in Cavan, and Gerard Lynch that owns it would have he would have had chicken le coq hardy on the menu up there. So whenever I actually made this for Sunday lunch myself, and basically breast of chicken, bone in, butterfly it out, so it's just sort of knifing around the bone, and you just butterfly out the meat without actually cutting through the skin. And a little bit of salt, fine sea salt, white pepper to season it. I cook a little bit of bacon and onions and some butter, and then I add in some Granny Smith apple, a little bit of scallion, some thyme, salt, white pepper, and then feed that then with the mashed potato that you've made that's unseasoned. Okay, so you just want to sort of basically you're making a potato stuffing, like, so it's got a little bit of scallion in at the end. So scallions, apple, bacon, and onion. Let that go cold. Stuff your chicken. Roll it up, and then just the point of the chicken, fold it in, so it's almost like a fist when it's on the tray. Brush your tray with some butter, bake that at 180 for about 20-25 minutes, and beautiful with a little mushroom sauce or Diane, old classical Diane sauce. Really, really nice.
Sounds pretty good. One of the recipes you did talk about today was the crab bhaji. What about if you're not into crab? Is there anything you could substitute it with?
Yeah. So you could actually leave out the crab altogether. Probably have a wee bit more onion, a wee bit more shallot in there. Probably add like either a bit of carrot or a little sort of spaghetti of courgette. Keep it vegetarian. Actually, be a nice way to go. You could get a few Dublin Bay prawns are coming into season. Dice them up, obviously shelled prawns, deveined. Dice them up a little bit. Prawn will be beautiful in there as well. Even cod, any kind of white flaky fish, little pieces of monkfish, or if you want to go real fancy, add in a couple little bit of diced lobster tail. So anything really that you can think on would pretty much work. Probably one of the best ways of keeping it veggies really, really nice. Or again, probably my favorite would be like little pieces of cod.
Okay, another one in here. A question that asks, I have a group of 12 people coming over for lunch this Saturday. Have you any ideas for something big that is as easy as possible to make?
Yeah, so what I tend to do, especially if the weller's good, right? I have a big paella pan that I bought now. It's one that I say paella pan. It's not a classic paella pan in the sense that I actually use it to make paella in, but it's just something that I actually never ever put any heat under it, but I would often cook in a couple of woks and I would serve it. So what I would say is a pork and veggie egg fried rice is really, really handy. If you were to get, say, maybe 2 pork fillets, dice them up really, really small, 1 red, 1 green, 1 yellow pepper, and maybe 2 onions, again diced up quite small. Heat maybe 2 woks. Get them really, really smoking hot. Add in a little bit of rapeseed oil. Then add in split the diced pork meat between each pan. Season it up really, really well. And then once you get that browned a little bit, add in the onion and the peppers and that sort of a mixture. A little bit of courgette is quite nice as well, and some mushrooms. Start to sweat that in. And separately then I would cook some Uncle Ben's rice. Uncle Ben's rice is great simply because it's already pre-washed. You can just put it in the pot, 2 parts water to 1 part rice, and have that cooked and strained. Drop in your cooked rice, and then a little bit of Frank's hot sauce or chan sauce, any kind of wee spices that you can get your hands on. I love the chan spice. Actually, the Spice Bank seasoning adds a lovely little bit of depth of flavour. You'll find that one in Lidl. And again, whatever you have, I always just sort of empty the cupboard of different spices and flavour, and add in your rice, split it again between the 2 woks, and then crack about 2 eggs into each pan. Mix it up really, really well, and then finish it with a handful of freshly chopped coriander into each pan, and just pour that into one big large. I do that into my big large sort of paella pan that I have in a wee press that I rarely go to. Put a big spoon in the middle of it, serve it family style, right down in the middle of a large table, and just let everyone fend for themselves. Easiest way.
Okay, another one in here. I have a small group of friends over for dinner on Friday. My husband is in charge of the mains, but I'm in charge of dessert. Any simple suggestions?
All right. So again, desserts aren't my forte, but there's a couple that I do and I really really love, especially this time of year. I would have did it at Bloom at the main stage last week, and it went down a treat. And it's my take on a tiramisu, and it's called a berry masu. And I either buy the sponge or I buy sponge fingers. Okay. Make a basic little stock syrup of water and sugar, or if you want to be really really lazy, you can buy a couple of tins of tinned peaches, pour it out into a bowl, and feed that with about 4 or 5 shots of Chambord, or creme de cassis actually would be even better. And basically you just want to dip your sponge fingers really really quickly into it, and then line one layer of a little serving bowl or serving tray. Whip up some cream, equal parts cream and mascarpone cheese, with a decent amount of vanilla extract or fresh vanilla, maybe 2 vanilla pods scraped into it. Whip that up until it's stiff. Get some berries, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries, and even a few blackberries not in season, but like definitely strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries around now. Sprinkle them with a little bit of sugar and toss them up, set them aside. Then layer your mascarpone cheese mix over your first layer of sponge. Then put in some berries. Repeat them with another layer of sponge fingers until you get to the top, reserving some of the berries though. And what I do then is sort of leaving a gap in the center. I just put my mascarpone vanilla cream then into a piping bag, and I pipe a rosette all the way around the perimeter of my serving bowl, leaving a gap in the center, and I fill in that hole then with my remaining glazed berries, and that just gives it a beautiful finish. Put that on the table, again family style, and just let everyone help themselves. It's a really simple cracking dish for a group of people.
Okay, there's one in here from Karen. Oh yeah, I'm looking for ideas on a meatloaf without meat. A veggie version, ideally one where the kids won't twig that it's a veggie one.
Yeah, help. Well, I'll tell you, I'm probably no Gucci, because it's probably the last thing I would be delving into. But probably, if you were gonna try and have that meaty texture, whatever, like beans is what you're gonna have to go have. Chickpeas and beans and lentils, okay. Kidney beans or different mixed beans that you could boil up or whatever. Chickpeas again, like so, season them, sort of cook them in a frying pan with a bit of onion, get some flavour into them first, and then basically what I would do is like some lentils du pie, which is green lentils. Use green lentils and red lentils almost as your binder, and chickpeas. So basically, yeah, that's what I would do. Press them all into a loaf tin, and then just put a weight into them. The only difference there is you wouldn't have to bake that; it would already be pretty much cooked. Like, so, just get your mixture. So part of it you would almost pulse or pulverize in a food processor, and you feed that through the chickpeas and the beans and the lentils. And again, if you want to be really fancy, get some grilled courgette, and you could just shave them from top to bottom lengthwise. Line your loaf tin with cling film, and then line it with strips of courgette that they're overlapping the tin. Press in your bean and lentil and chickpea mixture. Flip back over the courgette, then flip back over your cling film. Really, really press it in, and then get a good heavy weight on that, and then you'd be able to slice that almost like a meatloaf. And yeah, tricky one. So thanks very much. Tune in again next Wednesday. We'll be back, and thanks for sending in your questions.